What would be the best, like, fictional depiction of the afterlife?
The best fictional depiction?
I mean, I guess any depiction. Most of them are fictional, right?
Yeah. Well, we can't say for sure. We don't know all.
I guess
all the
that's
answers
true.
To the universe,
We're all still alive, so far as I know.
But I would say probably like the Greek one. That one's pretty wild.
Yeah. But what does the afterlife look like for the Greek religion? Is it like, do you meet the gods, or... Oh, no, it's just Hades.
Yeah, and he just snips your line and you're fucked.
Yeah, they got the little fates with their little tweezers.
Yeah. I'm not saying... I've only seen Hercules as a reference to Greek mythology, so...
It is yeah, that kind of generalizes it, I guess.
My knowledge extends to animation.
Yeah, that seems weird for this kind of show.
Yeah, not much else is going on up here.
There's a game called Hades that came out recently that became like a big hit. Everybody loved it. And it's basically just like you go through the different levels of Hades trying to reach the surface. And every time you die, you just get sent back to the bottom. So it's like a roguelike where you die and start over and have to like do it again.
Just keep going up the levels.
It's super fun, but it has a lot of like fun Greek mythology that it kind of reinterprets.
And that's where you get all your knowledge from?
No, but that's like one of the current like popular depictions of the Greek pantheon.
Oh, so you've read the Odyssey?
Not specifically.
Come on!
I read some Greek myths in high school, but not the Odyssey specifically.
I know about that guy who had the ankle thing.
Yeah, Homer Simpson.
Yeah, that guy. Nice guy.
Yeah, and the guy who showed up to hang out with Zeus, and Zeus was like, I'm a goose right now, guys. I'm busy. I got a lot of big stuff I'm planning.
Dude, you know what I always think about?
Huh.
What if fryer baskets had been invented back then?
Fryer baskets?
Yeah. The mom, she could have just taken Achilles, put him in the fryer basket,
And
dipped him into the golden river of life or whatever.
She could have done that.
And pulled him out. He'd be spick and span, dude. She wouldn't have to touch his heel.
That's true. I mean, she could have just put him in a regular basket, I guess. When you think about it.
A fryer basket, Sam.
A fryer basket would have been more elegant. That's the civilized way to dip your child in the river.
A fryer basket large enough for his son. That's what we should make. Just in case.
Wait. What?
We got new merch out, guys.
Oh shit, we've got
fryer
new merchandise.
basket made for a baby. Who wants it?
Everyone associates this podcast that everyone loves with fryer baskets.
New merch out, link in bio.
Link.
We're watching animations and it's hard to abstain from giving our opinions, though we're not classically trained. But we're gonna do it anyway, so just prepare your brain. Buckle up, cause it's the smear campaign.
Hey everybody! It's smear campaign. Do we have enough facts yet?
Oh, yeah.
We good to go?
I'm good.
Alright, hey!
Hey!
It's smear campaign. Your one-stop shop for animation conversations and discussing modern-day solutions to the classic riddle of Achilles.
In Californication.
It's also blurring the line between reality and animation. I'm Sam.
I'm Esperanza.
And we watched...
Coco.
Coco!
What a fantastic film, Sam.
It's so good.
Right from the jump.
Right from the get-go.
How many times have you seen this movie, Sam?
Twice. How many times have you seen this movie,
I don't even want to say.
How many times have you seen this movie, Esperanza?
I'm actually unsure. I want to say maybe 5 or maybe 6.
I mean, it's been out for like a year and a half.
Since 2017,
All right,
Sam.
fair enough.
Don't judge me.
Time doesn't mean anything anymore.
I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Nice.
It's a great film.
I didn't see a lot of movies in theaters more than once. I think the only one I saw was like Milan.
Oh.
And I don't know why.
Like animated movie?
Yeah. Not the new live action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go out to the theaters to see that.
Oh, yeah? Wait, what year did that movie come out?
The new one?
No, the old one.
That was like 2000, something around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first movie ever in a theater was in 2012.
Oh my god.
It was what was it called? The Uncharted Journey with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It's probably the best movie ever.
Oh my god. You're right in the dollar theaters, dude. Anyway.
We watched Coco. You love it, Esperanza.
I love the film. What can I say?
I don't know that I love it as much as you, because you really love this film.
Well, I relate to it, dude.
Yeah?
In a certain way. I mean, I'm not of Mexican heritage, but I did grow up in that culture.
Oh, yeah?
From down in old Texas.
Down in old rusty Texas.
I'm from Brownsville, Texas, the southernmost city in Texas.
Wow. So you have some passing familiarity with the traditions and culture and everything?
Yeah, we celebrate Dia de Los Muertos.
Nice.
We have the day off school and everything. We have Char Days. We have all these. We do all the festivals and whatnot.
And now you live in Massachusetts.
Yup.
Nothing happens in Massachusetts. They love to celebrate Christopher Columbus here.
Yeah, the culture is baked beans, dude.
It's just baked beans and crab.
Cool, but it's a good film, though.
It is a good film. We both really like it. I guess we're just going to go kind of through point by point throughout the movie and sort of talk about it. It starts with this opening sequence with this really cool little paper craft animation where they have these, I don't know, what do you call it? Paper cutout?
Yeah, it's called papel picado.
Papel picado.
It's just like it's just like cutout paper, and it just like forms different designs and stuff.
Yeah, it's this thing that a lot of Disney Pixar movies are doing now, which is the sort of traditional 3D CG animation. They have like a character or a sequence that is animated in sort of a, I guess, more experimental, usually more 2D, like the tattoos on Maui.
Yeah,
and,
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
From that song in Moana.
Yeah.
And I thought of that scene from The Princess and the Frog and Almost There.
Oh yeah, where they do the classic sort of flat color aesthetic.
Yeah.
And there's, in the new Pixar movie Soul, I know there's some characters that are like specifically, they look like scribbles.
Oh,
and
no
they
spoilers, Sam.
Yeah, well,
I haven't seen the film.
It's in the trailers probably.
Oh, come on, dude.
I don't know.
I don't watch the trailers. I just turn my mind off for these movies.
You mentioned that a couple times watching the movies.
It's true.
Just trying to turn off your mind so you don't like predict spoilers or anything.
Well, it's made for kids, you know.
That's true. It is.
Twists are easy to see, but if you just turn your brain off.
The twist is a little easy to see in this one, but yeah, it's like it's.
But it doesn't matter.
It's not like trying to trick you into thinking like, oh no.
Yeah. This
movie's definitely already over, even though we got 20 minutes left.
Yeah. When I saw it when I was 17, and I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It got me, dude.
Yeah.
I was just a young child. No, I'm just kidding. But I do like watch it, and I'm just like, wow, the art's so cool.
Yeah.
I like try not to pay attention to the plot.
Not at all.
Well, a little bit as a treat.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it opens on that scene.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced to the whole story of Miguel's telling the story. It's a voiceover.
Yeah, Miguel, our young boy main character, growing up in Mexico, and he comes from a family of shoe cobblers, because his great grandmother, her husband walked out on her, and she was mortified because he went off to be a big musician, and she was so mad that she decided to become a very solid, successful kind of family person, raise her family right, and start a shoe shining business, basically. And her whole family was all about shoes, and she hated music.
No music.
Just the basic concept of music, she hates it.
Yeah, and the tradition follows them for 2, 3, 4 generations so far.
It really sticks around.
Yeah.
And they're all really into it. Like, everyone aside from Miguel, of course, because he's the hero. And he's an aspiring musician. He's got his little guitar that he has this little secret nook for, where he plays it in secret away from his family.
Right, and he really likes and idolizes Ernesto de la Cruz. He's like a Mexican pop star who also came from his small town.
Yeah. Everyone just refers to him as the greatest musician of all time, which is a fun way of like...
Yo, right off the bat.
Yeah, it's like, just so you know, everybody loves this guy.
Yeah, and we find out that he died because a bell crushed him.
Yeah, it's a very funny, like, the first instance of death in this movie is...
He's just super comedic.
Yeah, just a guy backstage accidentally flips a switch and knocks a giant bell on his head. It's like, and he died.
He died, but the greatest musician of all time, and so... Yeah, Miguel's idolizing him. He learns all his songs. He like makeshifts his own little cool guitar out of like nails and wires and shit.
It's really
stuff.
Yeah, just like very intricately designed to look like. Yeah, he put this together with like shit he had around the house.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then he's like, I want to play in the plaza for the Dia de los Muertos concert.
Yeah, he's shining a musician's shoes, and he's like, hey, you know, if you're a musician, you gotta be able to play. And he's like, come on, do the show. And it's like, I'll do it. And his family's like, what the fuck are you doing with this musician?
Yeah. And then she throws her chancla at him.
Yeah, she loves to throw her shoes at people.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a running joke.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah, they carry it over later on when we meet the great-great-grandma. She does the same thing with her boot.
Yeah.
Just smacking people on the head with it.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Folks be doing it.
It's a classic move.
Well, no, it's like, it's kind of a meme, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, when she pulls out the chancla and you know you're in trouble, you know? So, you know, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
My dad was the same. Nice guy.
Nice guy.
But anyway, so then he's like, I'm gonna go play in the plaza, and I don't care what anyone has to say. But then they discover his music and his secret hoard and shrine to Ernesto de la Cruz in their attic. And they break his guitar.
Yeah, it's just one of the first of many sad scenes.
Very
of just
sad.
like, just crushing his guitar, crushing everything that he had.
Yeah, and then they're like, if you want to run away from this family, you're not going to be on the ofrenda.
He's like, I don't want to be on the family. I don't want to be part of this family. I don't care if you forget me.
Stupid ofrenda. And then he runs away into the night to play in the plaza.
Yeah. So he goes to the plaza to try and play, but he doesn't have an instrument, and he decides he's going to steal the guitar from Ernesto de la Cruz's grave because he realizes, when he knocks into the ofrenda earlier, one of the things is like he's got a stray dog that follows him around, and the dog knocks over the ofrenda, which is what causes the little
the picture frame breaks, and then he realizes that the picture of his great great grandmother and great great grandfather has a little piece that was folded in, and he sees that in the picture is the same guitar that Ernesto de la Cruz had.
So he remembers, I'm the great great grandson of Ernesto de la Cruz.
And so he declares, I'm going to be a musician, and that's how the whole breaking of his guitar ensues.
So now, since he knows he's Ernesto de la Cruz's grandson, he thinks it's okay for him to just, maybe just borrow the guitar.
What a treat.
But he's stealing from the dead on the Day of the Dead.
Oh, and nothing could go wrong.
So he turns into a ghost. And people start walking through him, and he's freaking out, and he's seeing skeletons everywhere. And then he runs into his family.
His family, Sam.
Yeah. So the way the movie kind of frames the Day of the Dead ceremony, I think it's inevitable that there's going to be people wanting to make Day of the Dead stuff, just because it's got such a distinct and like fun aesthetic to it. There's also the movie Book of Life.
Oh yeah.
That also was kind of about Day of the Dead and did it in a very different way. Visually, it's like really creative and interesting. This one's a little more like just classic kind of Pixar, traditional CG style. But
yeah. Well, that one is more of like a love story, right?
Book of Life.
Yeah. Or I can't remember exactly.
I forget the plot. I don't remember the plot or like the humor being especially great, but the visuals are wonderful.
Yeah, no, and the music's good too.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like the music is just like it writes itself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the music in this movie is fantastic.
All of it is wonderful.
I'll stop.
Speaking of which, I've got a fun little review.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Damien M. So the movie starts off. It's got this wonderful like backtrack of this sort of Mexican style music, mariachi and everything else, guitars and trumpets and all the wonderful things. And Damien M. gives it 2 stars, saying, Coco has brilliant multicolor visuals, but the storyline is awful, unfunny, and cliched, and decides not to introduce the excellent songs until 65 minutes into the film.
Oh.
What? I thought it was introducing the songs right away.
Yeah, like right off the bat, they did the Disney theme, like in such a great way, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's like a mariachi version of the Disney song, and it's...
Yeah, it's got the brass quartet and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. But he's saying the music doesn't start until 65 minutes into the film, which... I guess the main theme maybe doesn't show up until then, but it's a weird criticism.
Well, I would say it's not a musical.
No.
Like in the sense that musicals normally are.
Yeah,
like he's not singing about his feelings.
Yeah, there's not like a removal from reality where the characters all suddenly burst into song. It's just so many of the characters are musical that they do wind up singing in the movie because they're performing for each other.
The plot has to do with music, so I guess the plot just moves along, and that's why there is music at all.
Yeah, but it's not like a Disney musical kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just...
it's an interesting critique.
Yeah. It was a weird review because I was like, that's not even right. I don't think. I guess maybe he doesn't think any of the music is good until 65 minutes in. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But anyway, so he gets to the land of the dead. His family sees him and is like, what? What's going on? And they bring him back up with him up this sort of rainbow of...
a bridge of marigold.
Yeah.
Or cempasúchil.
Cempasúchil. That's the carnation leaves?
Marigold leaves.
Marigold leaves. Okay.
It's like that's the folklore basically that if you make a path of marigold leaves, it will lead the dead to the land.
Yeah. They do a great job of like really making this world feel like grand and divine and
oh my
immaculate.
God, it looks so good.
when it cuts to shots of the actual, like, the city of the dead, and it's just these massive structures,
Oh my
and
gosh.
everything's so intricate and layered, and
There's just like little skeletons hidden throughout the city. Like
Yeah.
little skeleton faces.
yeah,
They literally didn't miss anything.
yeah.
That's all I have to
The
say.
aesthetic is on point.
On point. Popping off.
I would say it's downright swell.
Dating yourself, Sam. I'm just kidding.
How dare you?
So they get across the bridge and they run into this character, this shifty-eyed guy, and he's trying to get across the bridge to the land of the living. But
Seems a little suspicious.
yeah, no one's had him on their ofrenda, so he just can't cross the bridge.
Yeah. And as it turns out, when Miguel ran away, he took the picture of his great-great-grandparents with him. And so his great-great-grandmother is furious because she's not allowed to cross over that
Mama
year.
Imelda.
And she is freaking out at the person at the computers, and then they realize, oh, okay, so we gotta send him back so he can put the picture back on the ofrenda so that she can cross over with the rest of us, and then we can have a happy Dia de los Muertos. And the way they have it set up is that he needs to get a blessing from his family, so she, the great-great-grandmother, gives him her blessing, but adds the caveat that he can never play music again.
Damn.
He's like, what?
That's cold as hell, Jake.
That's so mean.
He'll have to sing a cappella for the rest of his gosh darn life.
He can't even do that. He can't even just sing a note because as soon as he goes back, he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the guitar and go to the plaza anyway. He grabs the guitar, comes right back.
To the land of the dead. And
Yeah.
he's back, and they're like, what are we gonna do with you? And then he runs away.
Yeah, and he's like, maybe if you were just reasonable and just let me go back because I'm trying to solve both of our problems here, maybe it'd be fine. His
For the
family is-
continuation of the plot.
Yeah.
All the adults in this movie are just assholes.
Yeah, there's just this incredible sense of, like, absolute refusal to listen to reason on anyone's part.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, it makes sense given just how, like, it's, like, very dramatic. Like, the grandmother feels so strongly about this, like, you can never be like him again. It's just, like, a rule that they've all decided to live with. And,
Gotta make shoes, dude.
yeah, gotta make shoes.
Gotta yell at the mariachis when they pass by on the street.
Yeah.
Just make them scared.
That's what family's all about.
Rough them up a bit.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
a treat for us.
What a treat for us, the viewing audience.
Anyway, so Miguel runs away, and then he's hiding away from his family. And, you know, all the police are out all the skeleton police are out on the alert for him because he's a living boy. They're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
But
And
he
then
runs
yeah,
into Hector, who, by happenstance, is just in the middle of talking to an officer saying, hey, I know De La Cruz. I can get you front seats to his concert. And Miguel hears that and is like, De La Cruz? He's my dad, and he's a musician. Or he's my great-grandpa. He's a musician.
He's
and
my dad.
He's my dad. And if I can get my blessing from him, then I don't need to give up music. If I can get this Hector guy on my side. Everyone's scheming. Everyone's got all these great little schemes that are all contradicting and interwoven in a very fun way. The plot's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Even though it is, like, it's predictable because it's a kid's movie. But it's like all the little pieces, like, fit together. It's like a very fun little puzzle to
Very well.
sort of, like, look at and see, oh, here's how all the pieces fit together.
Yeah, and Hector's kind of like a scheming dude. He's like, oh, I see he's a living boy, then if I give him my picture, he'll put it on his ofrenda, and then I'll be able to go back to the land of the living, and that's all I really need.
He's got this running thing where he'll just lie, and then someone else will call him out, and they'll say, I lied. I'm sorry about that. And he just keeps on going, like, whatever.
He's very funny.
He seems a little shifty at first. In the process to try and find De La Cruz, they go to where he should be rehearsing, and they run into Frida Kahlo, who's a fun... The first time I watched this, this was the funniest part of the movie for me, is Frida Kahlo just doing this very abstract interpretive art performance.
She would do that, wouldn't she?
I don't know if she was... I mean, I guess she'd definitely do weird shit. I don't know if this was exactly her bag or if they were, like, kind of applying a general mystique of, like, weird postmodernist art onto her.
It's really funny.
It is very funny. And she's...
What if everything was on fire?
She's like, you see the giant avocado, and in it are many dancers, and the dancers all have my face, and they climb up a cactus, which also has my face.
And they drink my milk, but the milk is my tears. And what if everything was on fire?
Is it too obvious?
I think it's just the right amount of obvious.
It's the right amount of obvious. Maybe add a little music. It's like, oh, he's a musician. He likes the music.
Yeah, she's like, you are gifted. So gifted. And then they find out from the musicians that Ernesto de la Cruz is not actually at the rehearsal. He's actually at his party all the way across town. The only way to get to the party without an invite is to win this music competition.
Now he's got to perform on stage for the very first time.
What an unlikely situation for us.
But first they got to get a guitar. So they go down to this little, it's like, it looks kind of like a side of the docks or something, where all the skeletons who have no one to remember them kind of hang out because they've got nowhere to go and they're just sort of left there by themselves. So it's like a found family.
Called the skeleton slums.
Yeah, and they find this old skeleton who's just this bitter, angry old man who's sitting in bed, and he's like, "You want my guitar, my prize guitar? You can't have it. You took my femur last time." Like, he doesn't like Hector at all. But then you see, oh, he's like glowing and coughing, and he seems to be dying, but he's a skeleton. What's the deal with that?
What's the deal with that? Well, there's something called a second death, or final death.
The final death, yeah.
Where they finally are forgotten because there's no one on Earth to tell their story anymore.
Yeah.
And they're not on the ofrenda.
There's some saying that's like, there's two deaths, one when you die and one when the person says your name for the last time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's interesting the way they have it. So like, oh, there's still death after death.
Yeah, it's kind of deep, Sam.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's a very mellow scene, but he has Hector play him one last song before he goes, and he sings this, like, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like this kind of dirty little like song about this ugly lady, but he's so ugly that she'd never love him. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, it's called Everyone Loves Juanita.
Everyone Loves Juanita, and it's like a joke song, but it's set over this very sad scene.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Pixar is also very good at, is counteracting their very melodramatic, sad stuff with good-natured humor and like a real kind of like personal connection that makes it hit so much harder than if they were just trying to be like, oh, it's so sad and I play the saddest song in the world.
Something by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Old Phil Collins.
But then the old angry skeleton, he's content and he passes away. And then Hector's like, well, everyone dies sometime. And then
and then they
takes
move
off.
right on to the next scene.
Yep, then it's time to perform on stage.
It's just a thing that happens. Hopefully this doesn't come up later again in the film, because that shit would be sad.
That could never happen, dude.
So they get to the stage where people are performing to be the special musical guest at De La Cruz's party, and Hector has to build Miguel up so that he'll be ready to perform. And he performs and he does a great job and everybody loves him because he's a great musician.
That's
even though
the
he's
best
just a
song,
kid.
dude.
Yeah, it's great. He's so good. The performer, the actor for Miguel is so good.
Anthony Garcia.
Yeah, all the performances are so great. Like the singing and the characterization.
Well, you know what's funny, Sam?
Yeah.
What I found was that originally Miguel, the character, was just going to play the guitar and he wasn't going to sing. Then the directors found out that Anthony Garcia had like a lot of musical talent.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then he was like, oh, I'm also going to sing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a resource. You'd be a foolish idiot to not use that.
Yeah, he was just going to be like a guitarist in the original concept. But this was in like 2011. That's when they started making them.
It feels a little more like personal that he's also a singer.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is another example of like a kind of like Ratatouille, where that movie that we love so much.
We love
it. Can't stop talking about Ratatouille. Where a lot of that movie's appeal is like it has a real love for its subject matter. The way they show the preparation of food, it feels like people who really know what they're talking about when it comes to what preparation of food should look like. And so it's like showing this kind of passion through animation, which I think animation is like particularly great at really showing just the emotion behind that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there was like a fun fact.
Go ahead.
That was like, everyone was so shocked by it, but I noticed it right off the bat, is whenever he plays, the chords he's doing with his fingers match the music that he, like, it's all accurate.
Yeah.
You know, like I saw, he's playing like A, C, and then he plays like, C major, whatever.
Yeah, they're actually getting the notes right.
Yeah, like, and all the fingering is exact as well. And everyone was like, oh my god, like, no one ever does that. But it's like a love, a love story.
Yeah, it's about the love of music and the love of family. And the love of Mexico, I suppose.
Mexican culture. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
But, it's not that common just because it's, like, it's so time-consuming to try and accurately portray the specific, like...
Yeah, like, no one cares that much.
Yeah, like, if you've got a character playing the saxophone, then they're just kind of twiddling their fingers and go... That's fine. That's all you really need. And it's not accurate, but that's, like... It's so much more intensive to actually show that. And Pixar, like, because of, like... the esteem of the studio and like how much time and money they can put into like making everything perfect. This is the kind of studio that would do that kind of thing.
Hashtag they never miss.
Hashtag they might miss sometimes, but
yeah, I'm just
they didn't miss today.
Ratatouille ?
Ratatouille onward ?
Question
What exclamation point?
Yeah, some of the actors, like most of the actors are Hispanic voices.
Yeah, that's something they're pushing more for now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that is good. But some of them were worried that it wouldn't be true enough to the heritage and stuff. They were curious about the piece, but they were worried that it wouldn't hold true to the culture and stuff. But then they realized, Pixar really did their research on this one. Well, they really tried their best. Although, I mean, even some of my friends thought that in some parts they felt that they were being catered to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it was patronizing, maybe? Or...
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But people in Mexico, a lot of Mexicans love this film, and it was, top over there for a lot longer than it was top in America.
I imagine, you don't see a lot of big-budget animated movies about Mexico, so...
Yeah, exactly.
You finally see one, it's great.
Yeah, and a couple of my friends also, they said that they preferred it in Spanish.
Oh, yeah?
And actually,
is it the same cast in Spanish?
No, only the guy who plays Hector.
Okay.
Revised his role in
because
Spanish
he's
version.
a famous, you said Argentinian actor?
I think he's Argentine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm pretty sure. But anyway, yeah, it's Gael Garcia.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor. But yeah, he was the only one who reprised his role in the Spanish version.
Okay.
But yeah.
We do get a fun little review from Jesse C, who gives it a 0.5 star, saying, "Awfulness, horrible movie from Pixar, disrespectful for our many traditions, with many stereotypes from the south of Mexico."
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really just depends on who you are. If you feel like you're being catered to, then you don't want that. It's
definitely a tricky thing to balance, especially for a big white American company like Disney.
Yeah, right. It's an American studio.
Whenever they pull it, there's always an element of it would be less this if it wasn't you guys doing this.
Yeah, I was holding my breath in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I was
the movie?
The
first time you watched it.
First time I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh,
please be good.
Maybe they'll do it good. They did it so good.
Nice.
Although I had to sit through that half-hour Frozen special that they put in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Before that movie, which was literally killer. I was like, when is it gonna be over?
I never watched it in theaters, but I heard about that. I thought it was so fun.
Oh my god, it was awful.
A half-hour Frozen show about Olaf.
He's like, we're gonna save Christmas.
Oh.
I'm like, what the hell? It's a musical bit. It's a bit. He sings his little song about saving Christmas, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
We could. I mean, it's technically part of the movie.
Gosh, I was so mad. Yeah. I was like, what is this? It was...
To make it so long, it's just
half an hour, dude. I mean, I get the shorts. The shorts are 3 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little longer down.
And I love the Pixar shorts. They're always interesting and just a fun little idea that, the one before Incredibles 2, Bao.
Oh,
was
gosh,
so cute and so great.
Imagine raising a dumpling from the ground up, Sam.
Imagine your child as a dumpling.
POV.
POV. Your baby's a dumpling. What do you do?
What are your choices?
Wrong answers only. But I remember that one came out and everyone was like, "What does it mean? She eats the dumpling, but it's her son? What does it mean?" It's watch the movie.
It's deep, bro.
It's not even that. It's just
deep, fam.
It's just representational of a relationship.
It's really it's cute. It's a little deep. It's a little meaningful.
Yeah.
It's got a little Asian culture in it.
It's got a little bit of that.
It's good to see.
So back to the movie.
Sorry.
No worries. It's a podcast. We do whatever we want. At the concert, he does a great job, and his family he sees is looking for him while he's on stage, and so he runs off and.
But before he can,
the woman on stage gives off an announcement saying, "A little human boy has been found whose his family's looking for him." And Hector's like, "Wait, you said you didn't have a family. You needed to get to De La Cruz." Because the whole reason Hector's helping him is because he needs to go back so he can bring his photo back. Right. But now Hector's like, "Oh, so your family can do it. So why are you pulling me around? I don't want to go to De La Cruz's place."
You're yanking me around.
And then Miguel runs away, and then his great-great-grandmother comes and tries to stop him, and he says, "You'll never understand. I love music. It's important to me." And it's yeah, you're right.
And then she goes, "Ay de mi llorona."
And she's a wonderful singer.
Singing. And then he's like, "Oh, but you'll never understand." And she's like, "Oh, damn, you got me." She just lets him go.
Yeah. Don't you understand? Music is evil. It's no, it's not.
Just to prove
it's clearly not.
All the adults in this movie are assholes.
They really are.
Even when they show some semblance of understanding, they never do anything for him. Yeah. I'm dude, you have all the power.
Ain't that just the life of a kid?
Yeah, but it's just to continue the plot so he can run back into Hector.
It's all it all makes sense within the movie. Anything that we're saying about it, it all works just fine. It's just it's funny how much of the plot hinges on every adult being really
worst,
irrational
yeah.
and like
and
mean
or
about
a
everything.
murderer.
Yeah, and a murderer, which brings us to Dela Cruz's party. Miguel sneaks in with the band that won the contest. He sneaks in the tuba, and the tuba guy spits him out once they get inside. So very classical little gag.
That was a tuba noise.
Yeah. A classically high-toned instrument. But he gets into Dela Cruz's place and jumps on the banisters and starts singing the song "Remember Me" about. No.
The world is me familiar.
Oh, that's a different one. Right, those are the two big songs.
Sorry.
All right.
Just here to correct you on the podcast.
I mean, yeah.
I've seen the film.
You're right. I'm wrong. I admit it. I'm an idiot. And he sings the song and tells Dela Cruz, "I'm your great-great-grandson." He's like, "You're my great-great-grandson?
Oh my god.
Wow.
I've never even had sex before.
I'm a virgin. All those groupies just got me so nervous. I couldn't handle it."
He just goes for it. He believes Miguel, and he's like, "Ah, everyone, look, I have a great-great-grandson."
And they have a party, and they're all celebrating, and it's like, wow, this movie seems to be ending kind of
on a happy note.
Kind of a weird happy note where
question mark?
a lot of stuff doesn't seem to be resolved, but I guess we're done.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Nothing else could go wrong.
And
yeah. So then Hector barges in right when Ernesto de la Cruz is about to give his blessing to Miguel, and he's like, "What are you doing? I'm going to die."
That's exactly what he says.
No, he just gets mad and he's like, "I'm being forgotten, and the only reason that no one remembers me is because you stole all my music.
You wouldn't give me credit." It's like, "Oh, I only did it to honor your memory." "Oh, well, thanks so much."
So then we find out that Ernesto de la Cruz actually stole all of the music from Hector, and they used to travel together and sing, and Hector got lonely and homesick and whatnot, so he was going to go back to his family.
Interesting. So he wanted to go back to his family in the way that Miguel's great-great-grandfather never went back to his family.
Exactly.
This is an interesting connection that I feel like this is the last time it comes up.
Yeah, you're right, and it never repeats.
Yeah.
So then we find out that actually Ernesto de la Cruz murdered Hector because he was upset because he wanted them to travel together and just keep doing music together.
They showed him one of like the many melodrama like movie scenes that he's in that's always like playing on his. He's got like scenes from all of his performances playing around his mansion, and one of them is just like some goofy scene where he shares a toast with a guy. He's like, "Oh, poison!" and then he socks him in the face, and it's like, wait a second, that's just like this story, except De La Cruz would have been the guy poisoning you.
De La Cruz, did you write the script based off your own life like an idiot?
Did you, like, give us all the clues?
We've just been too stupid and dull to see it this whole time.
No one wanted to believe that Ernesto de la Cruz could be a murderer, but he totally is.
Yeah, so he murders Hector and he steals all his music, and that's why he's a great famous musician.
Yeah. And
so the security guards take Hector and they throw him into somewhere. They take him away.
Yeah. And then Miguel's like, "Okay." And De La Cruz is like, "Listen, my reputation's very important. You don't believe I killed him, do you?"
Miguel is shook.
He gives him the craziest of lies. And Miguel's just like, No, it's fine. I totally don't think
You killed him?
Yeah, you're a good guy, I swear.
Absolutely not, dude.
And then De La Cruz says, "Take him away." And in the process, he takes the photo that Hector was trying to give Miguel to bring back with him. So, now Hector's screwed. And then he decides not to give Miguel the little flower petal. So now Miguel's screwed, and they both get tossed in a giant pit.
It's like, go die in a hole.
Yeah, literally.
He's like, maybe I will.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe I will.
So they're in the giant hole, and they're like, what are we going to do? Everything's lost. And he's like, Hector's like, I just wanted to go back to the land of the living so that I could see my daughter for the first time. And then he doesn't say who it is, of course. We never find out. And then
Except in the next part of that sentence, he does say who it is.
He's like, my lovely daughter, Coco.
Coco?
And then Miguel's like, Coco, ?
Hold on a second. At the beginning of the movie, which I think we might have missed, there's a particular bit of focus put on his great-grandmother, Coco, who's this very old woman who's like at the end of her life and kind of like dealing with memory issues, and she's not fully there. It's kind of, she's sort of just,
around.
Yeah, they're keeping her alive as best they can, but she's in the last legs of her life. And her name's Coco. And Hector's daughter's name is Coco.
But they're not the same.
Wait a second. They are.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god.
Who could have seen this coming?
And the twist is resolved. So, yeah. It's kind of an obvious twist, but it is a very heartwarming moment.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're both just happy to have finally found like a part of their family that they never knew before, and
I'm proud to be his family.
I'm proud to be his family.
And then Dante finds them in the hole.
Yeah.
Dante's the little stray dog.
As well as the family with their giant cat monster that we didn't really mention earlier.
Oh yeah, alebrije.
Yeah,
That's like the spirit world animals.
Yeah, there's a bunch of alebrije throughout the movie, and they're all these wacky kind of like neon colors with all the like kind of classic Dia de los Muertos face markings and sort of like patterns and shapes all over them.
And they all got superpowers.
Yeah, they can all fly around and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Breathe fire and whatnot.
Most of them are there as like background gags. Like there's just a weird rabbit that hops across a pier and just sounds like a frog for some reason.
He's so silly.
Yeah. There's a porcupine that's got little like
hot dogs on it.
Little hors d'oeuvres on his spikes.
Oh, I love that in the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the little monkey who breathes fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that monkey is really funny. But anyway, I digress.
But the family's finally together, and they have to reconcile with Hector, and they see that Hector's dying, and Coco's forgetting him. Like, oh, Coco's forgetting you. It's like, yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted to go home. I wanted to go back to you, Imelda.
Yeah.
I missed my family, and she's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't give a hoot.
She is great. She's just so mad all the time.
She's an angry lady.
She's so like, no, I am standing by my convictions. You're a bad person.
I mean, dude, if that's what does it for you, that's fine. But
yeah,
she's, it's a couple generations removed at this point. So yeah, so
she's had time to come to peace with it, and she hasn't, and I respect that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
she's like, I don't have to forgive you, but I will help you get your photo so that Miguel can help Coco remember.
So everything brings us to the finale, where they have to sneak into De La Cruz's concert, and they get some help from their good friend Frida Kahlo.
Like, what a queen.
Sneak in as some extras for her goofy performance. And they just sort of run into him and they're like, oh, give us the photo, De La Cruz! And then he runs away. And it winds up being the great-great-grandma gets... I keep forgetting her name. Imelda. I'm so bad with names.
That's okay.
I feel like I'm going to have this problem forever. Of just like not remembering any of the characters' names. But Imelda, in the pursuit, she accidentally stands on a platform that raises up onto the stage, and suddenly she's on stage in front of a huge crowd of people waiting to hear her perform, which is like a nightmare scenario for her, who's signed off music for her whole life. Mood. What a mood.
Mood. That's what he said. So yeah, she starts singing, and everyone's like, whoa, she's got a #beautiful voice.
Yeah, holy shit, she's #beautiful.
And then Miguel gets on the fritz and he sets up a little microphone and gives Hector a guitar to play.
Yeah, and they all start performing, and De La Cruz is like trying to send security to go after her, and she's like walking, like she makes a performance out of avoiding them, and it's a very fun little climactic scene.
And then he dances, Ernesto De La Cruz, like he dances with her, and then she grabs the photo from him. He gets it, she grabs it back. And then she steps on his foot. He does a little grito, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then she runs away. She's like, I got the photo. And so they're about to do the deal. They're about to send him back to the land of living.
They're so close.
Literally within a hair's width.
And then
De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Go for it, Sam.
He grabs him by the scruff of the neck and holds him out over the edge of the cliff. And then someone just grabs one of the cameras and turns it toward him. And it's just the ending to Monsters, Inc. It's like the exact same ending as Monsters, Inc. I think everyone pointed this out when the movie came out.
Not me. I just shut my brain off, dude. I don't remember nothing from Monsters, Inc.
Who cares?
Only the sock.
Mike and Sully. More like Mike and... Who cares?
What number is the sock, even?
What?
1492.
Probably, yeah.
You know how they're like, we have a code.
I don't remember.
Oh, come on,
I don't
Sam.
remember the code.
You remember
I'm
the
sorry.
ending of Monsters, Inc.?
I'm a fake fan. I'll admit it. I'm proud to be a fake fan. But they turn the cameras on him while he's giving his evil, yes, I did it, and I do it again too, speech. And everyone in the audience is like, oh, fuck, he's about to kill that kid. And then he throws him off the edge.
For a paycheck.
You'd do it too if your career was on the line. Don't you think I care? But he tosses him off the side of the cliff. He almost dies, but he gets caught once by his dog, and then once again by the giant cat. But they lose the photo in the process.
Damn, it's kind of sad.
It's a very sad little moment.
So so then Ernesto's like, all right, that business is done. I just killed the kid. No
all
fucking biggie.
Good.
Good stuff. And then he goes back onto the stage and he's like, hey, everybody. But everyone's been seeing this whole ordeal on the cameras. And so you know, they're all like, boo, you're a murderer.
They're
And some
throwing
guy
stuff at
comes
him.
back with his elotes and he's like, what did I miss? It's really funny.
What happened?
Yeah, it's really silly. Yeah, and he's like, come on, guys. And he's like, remember me.
And they just start throwing shit at him.
Yeah, they throw tomatoes and bread and everything.
And then the giant cat shows up and grabs him and just starts flinging him around and then throws him into the giant bell in the bell tower.
And then he gets crushed by a bell.
He gets crushed by a bell again. It very much reminded me of the fate of Hook in Peter Pan, where this whole time he's just like kind of terrified of this alligator who's chasing him around, and it's got the little clock inside of him so you can always hear when he's getting close. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it reminded you of when he got crushed by a bell at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, it does remind me of that.
It's a bit of a callback if you ask.
A little bit of reincorporation.
It's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
It's a bell, Sam. Come on.
That's a
Low
bellend. But
it's a bell end of a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. So the day is saved. They send him back, but Hector is dying because Coco is forgetting him for good. She's got the old Alzheimer's. So Miguel comes back to the land of living, and he rushes home, and he runs past his family. They're all like, "What happened to you? What were you doing? What happened?"
And they were all out looking for him all night. So
Yeah, they love him.
they were worried.
Yeah, they're family.
It's family.
But Ohana, it means family. But,
yeah, so then he runs into his grandmother, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I need to speak to Coco." And she's like, "No, leave her alone." And then he runs into Coco's room and he shuts the door. He locks the door. And then he's trying to get Mama Coco to remember her papa. And she just doesn't remember. She has like no emotion on her face.
She's not really responding. She's just sort of sitting there. And he's trying to get something out of her. And
Man,
finally,
it's so sad.
It's a sad scene. I mentioned this while we were watching. I've got a great grandma, Torkelson, who had Alzheimer's for the last few years of her life, and we would go up and see her every birthday, and we'd all kind of gather around and like celebrate it and like talk to her, and she wouldn't really remember us. And it's like you try and talk to her and you try and like get through to her, and anything you say, even if she responds, as soon as you're finished saying it, she's gonna ask what you're just saying. Yeah, and we had a fun moment where she saw my older brother who had longer hair at the time, and she thought he was a girl. I said, "Oh no, I'm a boy." And she's like, "Oh well, it takes all kinds to make the world."
Oh, catchphrase? Question mark?
It was a good line. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it means, but
dude, run for president, please.
we all loved it.
Torkelson.
Yeah, old Grandma Torkelson.
God bless her.
But it was like seeing this scene in the movie was like, oh man, that's a very visceral feeling.
Tugging at the old heartstrings.
Yeah, they do such a great job just depicting that kind of level of end of your life status. I think anyone who's got that kind of situation, it's
I gotta say, this is the first time I haven't cried during this movie. I think it was the pressure of you being in the room with me, and also just having this scene in the film so many times.
Sorry, I pressured you to keep your emotions.
I feel like a man right now.
I teared up a little bit watching it in the last couple scenes there.
It's really sad. Yeah,
It's so sad.
I get that feeling. I cried in theaters. I cried in theaters again. I cried in theaters again, and then I cried at home. It's a sad movie, dude. What are you gonna do? Yeah. So he starts playing the song.
He's like,
"Remember he used to sing this to you." Oh, it's so sad. And then she's like, "Yeah."
And slowly she starts to open her eyes and she starts singing along, and everyone in the room is just shocked. She's like,
crying.
"Oh, she's here." And for a moment she sees them and she recognizes them, and then she pulls out a picture from her little booklet that has all the old letters that her father sent her when he was away, and has a little copy of the little torn piece of the picture that had
his face,
Hector's face on it. Yeah. And
she's
so
like,
Papa, oh, my Papa was a musician. So beautiful. But yeah, and the scene ends and it cuts to a year later, and it's Dia de los Muertos all over again, and they put up Miguel is showing his youngest sibling what the ofrenda is, and like, these people are our family and we remember them every year. It's like, oh, it's so nice. And then they put up the picture of Coco, and it's like, oh god, fuck, oh, fuck.
Death is inevitable.
We're all gonna die, but it's okay, I guess, if your family remembers you.
Hey, everyone dies sometime.
Everyone's gotta die.
Thanks, Hector.
And then it gets the
But yeah, the very last scene is like they have a little Dia de los Muertos gathering, and everyone's playing their violins perfectly.
Yeah, he's got his siblings are all playing their instruments now, and his sister is really going at it on the violin. It's like she had her own whole like secret stash away from home where she was playing the violin this whole time, but just nobody bothered to like follow up with her on that.
Yeah, sequels about her.
Like, there's no way she learned how to do that in a year.
Yeah, no. There's gonna be some other holiday where she finds out. Yeah. She finds out why playing the violin is.
It's gonna be like a Dia de los Muertos, Nightmare Before Christmas.
What's this? What's this? But yeah, it's a very endearing final scene, and like the skeletons, their family in the land of the dead is, they're joining in on their little celebration and playing the little virtual ghost guitars and whatnot.
And everyone's together with family and music in harmony at last. And that's the movie.
Fin de semana. Which just means weekend. You're welcome, Sam.
Yeah, I took Spanish 1 too.
You took Spanish 1 too?
Yeah, I took a couple Spanishes in high school.
How many?
I was very bad at any foreign language, but there's a couple things I remembered.
Oh, did you learn about Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah.
They taught you a little bit about it?
Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, as you might be familiar, Esperanza. But I grew up in Michigan, and we don't have like a strong. There is like a decent Hispanic population in Michigan. I don't know specifically like what the I don't know
around Detroit, like Pontiac and.
Yeah, but even like I was on the other side of the state, and we still had like decent amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly like not a lot of other cultures that we learn about, but Dia de los Muertos is one of those kinds of exceptions of like, oh, this is the thing that's fun that we can talk about Mexican culture with. So I did learn about that a little bit, not a lot, and I didn't retain a lot because I don't know.
You were broken. You just built different, so
just built broken.
Built damaged.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget everyone in my family. So quick.
So that's the end of the movie. What a great film.
That's the movie. We got some reviews here. Just some fun stuff. Christopher Z gives it a single star, saying, slow, boring, no emotional impact, unrealistic characters, voice acting, horribly performed.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how you say that, Christopher Z. I think everyone did a great job.
That's bold as hell, Chief.
No emotional impact, Christopher Z? What are you, a fucking stone?
Yeah, I think that some people just really didn't... Yeah, there was an article I read about this movie that was like... So all the people I noticed that were writing really bad reviews about this movie being inauthentic were white people. Or people that weren't of Latin descent. And
people like trying to have the say on what is or is not okay, even though it's not really their place to say it.
But that was just an article I read, like written by a...
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I guess Christopher Z is just a boring person.
I mean, it doesn't say it's inauthentic, but some people were saying that it was inauthentic, which... Yeah,
there was a review from earlier that said that too.
Made me a little mad.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's not like I like the movie.
It's not like I care.
So Seth R. gives this 2 stars. He says, this movie tackled subjects that were too mature for kids, and because of this was super boring for kids, and only entertaining for some adults. Maybe. We were both adults when we saw this.
I mean, that's true. Seth R.'s profile picture does look like a kid. So this could be a very well-written review from a child, saying, I didn't quite enjoy this. The subject matter was a little too mature for me.
Well-written review from a child or poorly written review from an adult? I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's written fine.
It's written fine.
It's just like, I don't know, it's like saying, it should be entertaining for kids and not adults. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because it's too mature. I mean, he does talk about death, but I think that
it says
it's a great metaphor for death.
Yeah, it handles it in a abstract way. Like the first death is a big bell falling on someone. It's very cartoonish, and it's more about like, I don't know, memories and family.
It's not too deep.
Yeah, it's and I guess if you don't want to have kind of heavier themes, then I guess don't watch the movie. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, didn't this movie win like an Oscar or something?
I'm sure it won Best Animated Feature.
Film?
It always Pixar usually does.
Did you know that this movie was #1 in box office longer than any other animated film in the 21st century?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like for many days and weeks and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. So People just kept revisiting this film.
And
I did. I saw it several times in theaters.
You were part of the statistic.
Exactly. And like a lot of people from Mexican cultures and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, that's all well and good, but Ray J says 1/2 star. Why was this made? It's boring.
Oh my god.
I guess Ray J is a kid who found it too boring.
Well, we have no evidence to say otherwise.
Yeah.
It was fine. I don't know why as an adult I watch Disney movies. Well, I don't know either, dude.
Yeah, why? Why?
Just don't then.
Why would you ask us?
I don't think they're even asking. They're just like, I don't even know why I bothered.
Why do I watch Disney movies? I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2.5 stars.
The in-theater experience was like awesome.
The what?
In-theater experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like...
Oh, yeah, I can imagine just like the booming soundtrack all around you.
That's so cool. It's just like, it really gets your spirits lifted.
Yeah.
And also, you get really sad.
Yeah.
You just cry, you know.
You can cry, but it's dark, so no one notices.
Yeah.
And everyone else is crying.
Yeah, and literally everyone else is crying.
Everyone else is eating Frida Kahlo's tears.
Everyone's like...
Laura M. gives it 1/2 star. Horrible movie. Not only was everyone mean to the sweet dog, which was very concerning, and a terrible message to send to people normalizing abuse, but the movie was so boring. I don't know how anyone could sit through the whole thing in one sitting. I had to force myself to finish it. It should go in the vault and stay there forever.
Well, here's what I have to say about the part about hitting and being mean to the dog. In some cultures, dogs are kind of just like street vermin, and they're not like friendly pets that you take to the dog spa or whatever.
Yeah. People
don't love dogs in the Mexican culture like they do in America.
Yeah. The dog is Dante. The dog is a street dog.
Yeah, he's just like a stray dog, and they're not like super mean to him, but she's like, don't give him a name because he's a street dog and he'll just follow you around for food.
There's not like a lot of people hitting the dog in the movie.
Yeah, just like one time.
The lady throws her shoe at it, which she throws at people too.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel it's fairly obvious that this person is not thinking about it from that perspective of another culture.
It feels like this person was just like, I didn't like this movie. What's all the reasons I can list as to why I might not like this movie?
Yeah.
You can't send a message about beating dogs. I don't think the movie's saying you should beat dogs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was not the intent of the movie.
Moral of the story is don't beat dogs, dude.
Yeah.
Or you should beat dogs.
They're family. The dog's in the family group at the end.
Yeah, I mean the dog ends up, everyone loves the dog in the end.
The dog is a great part of the movie.
He's a homie.
We didn't really mention him much, but like the way that he moves is just so frantic and dog-like. Yeah. It's like it really captures that energy really well. And
he becomes an alebrije at the end, like toward the end. Like he sprouts all these colors and he has little wings.
Yeah. And his name is Dante, like in Dante's Inferno, because he's leading him through the land of the dead.
To the land of the living? Oh. Parallels, dude. I didn't even notice.
Maybe he's named after Dante, I don't know, some other guy. Anyway.
Yeah, sure, there's another guy called Dante.
Kind of ruins the momentum of that, huh?
Only sentimental to the point where I want to barf.
JS does not like sentimental movies.
Oh, overly sentimental. That's me being blind. My apologies.
Overly sentimental to the point where I want to barf.
I mean, it's a sad film.
Yeah.
Don't be watching it.
If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Just gonna get mad and put a review about it online. It's important to have an opinion about popular things.
It's important. And that's the message of this podcast. Don't beat dogs, but do have an opinion about everything.
I gotta stop memeing on that because people haven't been here since day one.
I think it's a good thing to keep saying every episode.
Some people have no idea where it's coming from.
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
People who don't know, I said that in the very first episode, I think.
Yeah.
Because of a review that someone made.
Yeah, there was a very famous review from our famous podcast where a person said... I don't know why I watched it. I guess it's important to have opinions about every important movie or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, not really, but whatever.
So that's something to rag on them for.
That's something we believe in this podcast. The last review is from Alexi R. Gives it 1/2 star. Disencouraging any standalone brain work. This film is crappy Disney schluck.
You gotta turn your brain off, dude. What are you gonna do?
Or maybe turn your brain on and before you write the review. Disney schluck.
Do you think he was a child writing this review?
I think he was in college.
Because who the heck uses the word schluck? What does that even mean, dude?
It's supposed to be schlock. But he just pronounced it wrong.
What is that? I don't even know.
Schlock is like I don't know how to define it. I guess it's just like the word for just sort of like whatever.
Like a yucky lad. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sam. I'm a like Gen Z lad.
Like a.
I don't know nothing.
It's like something that's like really cheesy or like obvious.
Oh, I see.
like a soap
Mawkishly
opera.
sentimental?
Yeah.
Like Moki. Or is it Hokey?
Hokey, yeah.
Hokey. I
don't know what
you,
Moki
Sam.
is.
See, I don't know what schluck is, but I know what Hokey is.
There we go.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, that's Coco. We both, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but I think you gave up the impression that you enjoyed it.
I actually hated it, dude.
Oh, shit.
I went
Let's
back,
start another podcast.
I went back several times to just see exactly what I hated so I could write a review like this.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's important to have opinions about these things.
Exactly, dude. But I think it came out in like a time in 2017. We were still going very much in the middle of that political unrest in terms of like I don't want to say his name, but Voldemort.
Oh yeah, the
was
ex-president.
in office. Yeah, holding office.
Just
I hate to say it.
Just call him Mr. Ex-President. He hates that.
No, nice guy though. Oh gosh. But yeah, so people were like, "Oh, this is like a very fitting time for this movie to come out."
Yeah, there was a lot of like anti-immigration sentiment, which always kind of comes down to the Mexican border, which is kind of implicit, like very. It's a racist thing, and it's like I don't know. It always comes up, and
off the cuff, that's where I grew up. So
yeah, so I imagine that's like an extra sense of connection there.
Yeah, that's why I like the film a lot.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with that. It's a good movie. The art's great.
And it's a big celebration of a very, like, maybe a little stereotypical, but it's like a very Mexican culture and very about just like the beauty and the majesty and the joy of it. And I think that's great. It's
cultural appreciation.
Yeah.
I think it's rare to see from an American studio anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's going to be the new thing.
Yeah.
I think more and more we're going to, because like there's a new movie from Disney coming out, like Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh yeah, I saw the teaser or whatever for that.
I think that's going to be like more and more, it's like the trendy thing to do, which is good because it's like, it's a new thing and it's bringing more people into the conversation as opposed to, people who look a little like me.
Yeah, Kubo and the Two Strings kind of hit it, but the voice acting was
Kubo I think was like a step toward where we're at now.
Matthew McConaughey, what do you mean? Bro, get out of here.
It was like, oh, we're going to celebrate the Japanese culture with this very like intense, like loving, like this love letter. And it's all white voice actors, all white, like major people in like creative roles.
With a George Takei ad lib.
Yeah, with George Takei just kind of...
Literally, he has a one-liner.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird that's the best I got for that.
But we already ragged on this when we watched Kubo and the Two Strings.
But it does kind of indicate that kind of trend toward more movies that are intentionally like not that. And intentionally more along the lines of like, even if it is still, a big monopoly studio that just shut down another animation department the other day because they're all about making as much money as possible.
Because they hate Ice Age.
Yeah, they hate Ice Age, they hate Scrat and Sid the sloth. Come on.
Come on, dude. What about the acorn squirrel?
It is a very sad story in the animation industry right now, but it's sort of Disney is at this monopolistic apex of the industry, and it's become popular enough to be conscientious of people's actual like identities and immutable characteristics that like Disney's like, oh, I guess this is profitable now. And even if that's kind of gross, it's also positive.
Yeah, like, it is kind of gross when you really think about it, but at least they do their research with it. It's
like how, what's a Gay Pride Month? Is that June or July?
It's June.
Yeah, like the rainbow capitalism that happens every year.
Oh, yeah,
all the companies
all the
are like, here's our rainbow logo. And then the day after, they're like, and now we're back to our regular logo.
Fuck gay people.
It's like, did you do anything to help? We put up a logo.
Here's a lanyard with a rainbow on it. Yeah.
It's disingenuous. It's made for profit. It's made to sound like people are more in with it than they really are. But at the same time, the result is that it is kind of normalizing more diversity and more kind of like acceptance and,
for
embracing.
Kids.
Yeah, for kids.
It's doing good stuff.
Yeah. If you can get kids to be a little less nasty when they grow up, that's cool.
And all kids are nasty, and the goal is to make them less nasty.
Yeah, I mean, we all just start as a big old pile of slime, and we slowly either get more slimy or less slimy as we get older.
Exactly. You tag yourself, Sam.
Yeah. I'm a slime part 2.
I'm the slime monster from Spirited Away.
I'm what's his name? The big goop monster from Goosebumps. King Jelly Jam. That's me.
Love of my life.
Well, I think we've stopped talking about Coco.
Yeah, we just started talking about slime.
We could make a slime podcast all about the cool things in slime. That'll get trending.
ASMR podcast.
What should we watch next time?
Oh, true.
I think we mentioned maybe watching like a classic Disney movie. Because we've been watching more like stuff from the 2000s and 2010s
true.
and stuff.
We've just been watching stuff that I like.
Yeah.
What do you want to see?
I like most of them.
Oh, you mentioned Peter Pan, right?
Yeah, we could watch. There's that scene with the bell that reminded me of Hook from Peter Pan, and it's been a long time since I've seen that. That's a super racist movie.
Oh, jeez, I've never seen it.
But there's a lot of great stuff in it. But yeah, definitely some stuff.
Can't wait, Sam.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a content warning on that one, but yeah, I think it'd be worth watching.
Yeah, I hope all you folks at home tune in next time.
Tune in next time for Peter Pan. Watch along with us. I'm sure we'll start posting these regularly at some point.
You won't.
You won't.
You literally will not do it.
You're not going to do that.
Gun pointed right now.
Yeah, nice try, asshole.
Anyway.
Bye.